Alrighty, Sanjeev. I think it's 2 minutes. I think we should just begin. Yep.
Okay, cool. So let's just get started. And yeah, people are joining later on as well. That's pretty normal.
Yep.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the ITSM to ESM, Scaling the Organization with AI, presented to you by Service Rocket. So let's do a quick introduction. Next slide, Andrew. Thank you. So my name is Sanjeev. I've been in Service Rocket for about 12 years now. I am a solutions architect here. What I do is I help customers with designing and implementing solutions utilizing Atlassian products. And joining me here is Andrew. So Andrew, maybe a quick introduction from yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Andrew, and I'm also a solution architect at Service Rocket. I've been working with Service Rocket for almost 8 years now, and I've been working with Atlassian products, from supporting Atlassian development products such as Bitbucket, Bamboo, Fisheye, and Crucible. And I moved on to a technical consultant role where I can help team define and deliver solutions. Finally, I then transitioned into a solution architect role to help customer form a unique solution and overcome their pain points and challenges.
Awesome. All right. So maybe let's dive into our agenda for today. Okay, cool. So I'll start off with an introduction to Service Rocket, who we are, what we do, and then I'll run through an overview of ITSM and ESM, providing you with background knowledge and understanding of these concepts. Then we will move on to the heart of today's session, which will be an engaging demo centered around AI and how it's used to scale a non-IT department's service management challenges. This promises to be the most exciting part, so stay tuned for that. Additionally, I'll be sharing a little bit more examples of AI integrations within Atlassian products. And finally, as we wrap up, we will allocate dedicated time for Q&A. However, please don't hesitate to drop your questions or comments in the chat throughout the webinar. Andrew and I will try our best to get to these questions as soon as possible. We love engaging webinars, so feel free to ask questions via chat at any time. We'll get to it as fast as we can. All right, so let's get started and let's explore a little bit more about Service Rocket, who we are and what sets us apart. All right, so this is a quick introduction to Service Rocket, especially for those of you who are new to us. We have over 20 years of experience. Service Rocket has been a pioneer in delivering enterprise-grade tech-enabled services. Our journey with Atlassian began in its early days when we were among the first users of Confluence and Jira. In fact, we were the first to offer Jira trainings, marking a significant milestone in our partnership. As a testament to our commitment, we were also the first to sign the Atlassian Partner Agreement, and since then, our partnership with Atlassian has flourished. It's this story of innovation and collaboration that makes us the go-to choice for companies seeking solutions to their most critical challenges. So in the next slide, what you can see is, so we've been around for about 20 years now, and we've got a global presence around the world, as you can see in this slide. So today, Rocketeers work collaboratively across 5 continents as part of a distributed team model that supports our customers all around the world. All right, and next slide, please. Okay, so and very quickly, some metrics about our organization. We've got 10 office locations, as you've seen in the previous slide. We have more than 250 Rocketeers globally. We have 50 Atlassian certified Rocketeers within the organization and 15 ACE experts with us as well. As you've seen, we work in different time zones, so we have 24/7 customer support that ensures that no matter where you are, you never have to navigate challenges alone. And on top of all that, we have more than 4,000 active customers that do business with us. So yeah. All right, so that's a little bit about Service Rocket and some metrics that I've shared. So I'll jump straight into the state of ITSM and ESM and talk a little bit more about these two concepts. So ITSM. ITSM, what it stands for is IT Service Management. It is a structured approach to delivering and managing IT services. What you see here under the ITSM section are some of the IT service management categories like incident management and change enablement. Take note in Jira Service Management or JSM. Sometimes we refer to Jira Service Management as JSM, so just take note of that. So in JSM, these essential IT services like incident management and change management, they have readily available out-of-the-box ITSM templates that can be used. These templates are a great way to adhere to industry best practices, making your JSM implementation remarkably efficient, which is why we are able to successfully complete ITSM transformation projects in record time when compared to any of our Atlassian ITSM tooling competitors. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about ESM. So ESM stands for Enterprise Service Management. This is usually applicable to non-IT types of business functions, such as human resource, legal, and the finance department. ESM utilizes the same types of workflows that the IT team uses to address business-centric use cases, such as employee onboarding, legal document reviews, and much, much more. Today, we will explore how AI enhances and enriches this ESM experience, elevating its impact and efficiency. But before that, let's take a closer look at the challenges faced by departments outside of IT within organizations today. So in the next slide, so these are the pain points that we can often resonate with. Let me dive into one of the examples here. So it's always challenging to find the right information pertaining to a specific task. You sometimes feel like you're scavenging and hunting and crawling through your company's internal wiki to get these answers, wasting a lot of precious time. So that's just one pain point that I've shared as an example. Another example here is employees in these non-IT departments like legal and human resource always get bombarded with notifications and emails that seem like they could, like when they get these emails and notifications, a lot of these seem like they could be avoided if someone actually spent time to read through all the company processes and policies. But let's be honest, some of these policies look like they only only a lawyer could understand them. So it's hard to go through all processes and policies and remember them. So this is a common frustration. I know my legal and HR department gets these type of questions all the time, which eats into their valuable time. We will cover in greater detail how an actual non-IT department uses AI to address a few business use cases in our demo later, so stay tuned for that. But before we jump into that, I'd like to cover a little bit more about Atlassian's approach to AI. So we move to the next slide, Andrew. AI for any organization, I'm sure, poses a lot of questions, especially around privacy and security. Trust is at the forefront of Atlassian Intelligence. Atlassian Intelligence combines state-of-the-art models developed by OpenAI with the power and data inside the Atlassian platform. This means we provide a native artificial intelligence experience that is contextual to you, your teams, and your workflows, all in a way that respects privacy of your data. The data you submit and the responses you receive via Atlassian Intelligence are not used to fine-tune or improve OpenAI's model or services. So that's an important point to remember. Each data request is sent to OpenAI individually over an SSL encrypted service. These requests is then processed and sent back to Atlassian again via SSL encrypted connection. Again, I'd like to reiterate, OpenAI does not store the data you submit or the responses you receive. If you want to find out more, you could check out Atlassian's Trust Center to learn more. Atlassian is always open to receiving feedback from customers and partners. Okay, so what we'll do now is I'll hand it over to Andrew, my colleague, and he'll be running through some exciting demos that we've prepared for you. So, yep, over to you, Andrew.
All right. Thank you very much, Sanjeev, and hello to every one of you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am really excited to show you a demonstration of how Atlassian AI can help your team quickly answer your customer and, of course, save your time. As Sanjeev has mentioned earlier, ESM, or Enterprise Service Management, has been growing really fast beyond non-IT services, and they too can leverage Atlassian AI to accelerate your work and accomplish even more. So for today's demonstration, we are setting up a scene, and we are doing it in a human resource department. And from what we are gathering from here, we are looking at the employee's point of view. So just give me a minute while I hide my presentation so that I can provide you that demo. Alrighty. So here we are. As you can see on the left of my screen is Slack, and we are going to be using that to ask questions. And on the right is my typical Jira Service Management demonstration site, which is presenting the portal. So today we want to explore two different kind of use cases. So the first use case, we want to explore how Atlassian AI can interact with your Confluent pages to provide a very speedy response for really common questions that employees may ask human resource. So let's have a scenario. One of my team member, Grace, who is so happened to be in the solution architect team as well. And she's from the student office, and currently she's about 3 months pregnant, and she wants to start thinking about getting her maternity leave. So from a point of view, it could be very difficult to find the information that she needs and to answer her question, especially if your organization has a really huge knowledge base. And on top of that, she might not even know exactly who to ask. So instead, she can ask Atlassian's virtual agent this question. So I am pregnant and I'm working in the Sweden office. How long of my parental leave can I take? So it's going to take a couple seconds for the agent to reply, and you can see the agent has already replied on this thread. When I click on it, it replies in 3 statements. So the first is introducing that, hi, I'm your virtual agent, here to help your questions and request. And the second one is where you actually responded the question, which is you can take up to 480 days of maternity leave with 80% of your salary paid as per the parental leave policy in Sweden. Now, on top of that, virtual agent will also attach any relevant Confluence document, in this case, the one over here, which I can quickly click on this, and it opens up that article. If I quickly scroll all the way down, looks on the table here, I can see that Sweden has a maternity leave of 480 days. Grace is eligible for that. In this case, Grace knows the answer, and now she said, all right, this actually answers my question, and she's going to hit this resolves the issue. So in this example, she got her answer really quickly, and there wasn't a hassle to find that information that she needs. And now she can have that discussion with her manager to start planning her leaves. In another example, Dave from our professional services team, he has a pet emergency, right? His dog suddenly fell ill during the evening, and it requires emergency veterinary care. So the emotional distress that the need to provide an immediate care for this pet will require him to take a day off on a very, very short notice to address these unexpected issues. Having under this pressure, Dave will then find it difficult to plan his logistics. And he also wants to make sure that he do not miss anything within the company's policy for taking personal time off as soon as the next day. So later that night, he could go to the Atlassian virtual agent and ask this question. I would like to take some PTO tomorrow. How many days notice must I give my manager? So again, the agent will then read the response and will find the appropriate answer, and they responded in the thread. As you can see here, it says you are required to provide a minimum of 3 days advance notice to your manager when requesting a PTO. And again, similar like the previous situation, a Confluence documentation would then be attached to verify the source. So in the case of Dave, he can't do this. He needs to take time off tomorrow. So in this context, it didn't really resolve the issue. So when it didn't resolve the issue, what the virtual agent would do would then it will create a ticket that links directly to the HR project. And as you can see here, people 29 is now created with the title that you're given. So if I click on it and you look at the portal on the right side, you can see the conversation that has been already been addressed with the virtual assistant. And from here, the agent can continue or take over the request. So in this scenario, Dave got his answer pretty quickly as well. But the answer provided doesn't seem to resolve his query as he needs to take the day off the next day. So he clicked on no and decided that he needed to ensure that his request to get PTO is captured in Jira and that the proper procedure is in place. Additionally, Dave could also contact his manager and to let him know about his situation. And he also mentioned that he has also logged appropriately with human resource team. So all that what I've just mentioned was one of the use case using Confluence. The second type of use case, we dive into another way that Atlassian AI can actually interact with your customer in a very, very specific topic. Now, this is called intent. Each intent represents a very specific problem, a question, or a request that your virtual agent can help resolve for your customer. When the virtual agent detects an intent in the customer's message, it will ask them to confirm if the intent that was detected is indeed correct. Once confirmed, the virtual agent will start a conversation flow of the intent. So for the demonstration purpose, I have actually set up an intent again for the human resource team, but it's specific to onboarding new employees. So one of the examples I want to provide to you is that we realize that one of our teammates, well, not only teammates, our team is getting a new person. And we want to make sure that they go through the onboarding process. So we asked the virtual agent, we have an employee joining my team next week. How do I onboard them? So as you can see, virtual agent has now replied. And the first question they ask is this regarding an onboarding of new employee? And that is the confirmation of this intent, which is onboarding. And in this situation, yes, it is. So I'm going to hit on yes. And then they will continue asking more questions. In this case, they provided me three different options, right? So the first option is to go through the normal employee onboarding process. The second will provide guides so that will essentially link to Confluence documentation. Or even a third, I just need assistance right away. And that will take us to creating a ticket with the support. So in this case, I just want to onboard a new employee. So I'm just going to click on that. Now, when I click on that, immediately it's asking me to raise a request. So if I raise a request, a form will then appear, as you can see right here. So this new person, his name is Alex. He's going to start next week on the 1st of April. April Fools. And we were going to go continue down. So that, as you can see, the ticket title will follow exactly what you said when you raised the request. You can continue to use this, or you may change as you like. And I'm just going to put Alex, his name. He will be in the Sydney base, and he would be in the full time as a new consultant. Once I create that, the virtual assistant then starts creating a Jira ticket, and then there we have ID people 30, which I can click on it, and you can see on the right side all the again interaction with the virtual agent, and then basically an agent can start capturing and start working on this. All right, so this is all my examples that I have to show you for demonstration. I hope that was useful. So let me quickly just swap back to my slide deck again. And you should be seeing that. Perfect. So I thought it would be great to also share with you the second scenario bit. So let me just move on to the next slide. So yeah, before we move on, I just want to quickly show exactly the scenario two from a little bit on the backend point of view, right? So here's a screenshot of some quick configuration that was made with an intent. You can see a screenshot right at above. It shows a simple intent workflow for onboarding new employee that we just discussed earlier. As you can see, once the intent has matched from the first bubble on top, the workflow or this particular workflow will get triggered. From here, it goes to offer me three different choices, and which is what we saw earlier. Either you create an onboarding ticket, or we need a guide, which is the playbook, or I just need assistance right away. So for each of these choices, I get to then define another set of actions after the post-selection. So whether if it's to offer the customer another set of choices, or to provide a form in order to complete for the customer to raise, like what we have just done earlier, or if it solves the problem, you will completely resolve the issues without even creating a ticket. This screenshot, another screenshot on the share is also another configuration of the intent where you can allow training of the virtual agent to recognize some of the key phrases and then identify that as an intent. So in this example from the screen, you can see we have example phrases like quote, new person joining next week or new staff joining soon. Once these phrases are identified, the virtual agent will then confirm the intent with the customer, like you saw earlier, and then before starting the actual workflow itself. Okay, so before I hand it back to Sanjeev, I just want to quickly summarize what we have just looked at today. So we explored using AI on a non-IT department, in this case, a human resource, and looking how AI was able to assist me with two different kind of scenarios. Just a recap, the first scenario was a generic knowledge from your Confluence article in which Atlassian AI was able to pick up. And the second scenario was with a specific topic in the case of onboarding, which picks up an intent and the virtual agent starts the conversation flow for that particular intent. With that, I will hand it over to you, back to you, Sanjeev.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for that great demo, Andrew. And congratulations, Grace, on your pregnancy. Enjoy your 480 days of parental leave. Yeah, man, it's good to be in a Sweden office, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be touching a little bit more about AI and where else you can find AI features within Atlassian products. So in the next slide, this is an example in JSM. So in this slide, I'm showing you an example of an AI feature called Summarize. What you're seeing here is an agent view inside of Jira Service Management. So just keep that in mind. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with the back and forth that goes on in tickets, often bouncing around multiple individuals across different departments and different time zones to figure out what's going on in a particular ticket. But Atlassian has made it super easy now for someone to jump on a ticket and rapidly get up to speed with an AI-generated case summary. So with a click of a button, you can get a concise TLDR of the ticket conversation so far. It summarizes a whole conversation into a bite-sized piece of bullet points in seconds. It reads through your comments and description and fields to basically create this summary. This is great for ticket handovers and for people who are constantly context switching. So this is a great feature to use. I've used it quite a few times when dealing with any tickets recently. So over to the next slide, Andrew. Over here on this slide, what it shows you is AI can help you create responses to customers. For example, with the brainstorm option, you can give it a couple of bullet points pertaining to what you want to write. AI will read through again the ticket field, description, comments, and suggest how you should draft out your points. Great for those who sometimes need help articulating their points from their head into a comment. So it's a great tool to use for those people. Yeah, so this is another cool feature. And then move on to the next slide, and I'll show another example of where AI is integrated into into JSM. So in this case, JSM, we can improve responses as we see in this slide by utilizing something called a change of tone. Over here, the background story is that Arya created a ticket because she spilled coffee on her laptop and she needs a new one. And the support agent who's trying to help Arya, maybe he was a little tired and wrote up a quick response. As you can see, the response just says, your new laptop will arrive next week, Thursday. Please be ready at home to collect it. However, you may intend to be a little bit less transactional and more empathetic in your response, but you may not have the sort of mental bandwidth to write it up at that point in time. So this is where AI can come and help you. So you could use this feature called change tone to empathetic. And if you move on to the next slide, AI has helped Omar, who's the support engineer, write up this response. So the change of tone will contribute to an improved customer experience, and this will hopefully result in higher customer satisfaction ratings as well. So a great feature for support teams to try to improve certain responses to their customers. And over to the next slide. So over here, it's an example in Confluence where you could actually use the search bar, and instead of just searching for articles, you can actually ask Confluence AI a question directly, and the AI will actually try to find the answer for you based off the knowledge-based articles that you have access to. So it attempts to answer the question, as you can see in my example. On top of that, it also shares with you sources where these answers were extracted from. So if you've seen the answer and if you want to fact check your answer, or you want to just double check to see if the answer makes sense, those sources links will help you to get more context on the answer. So it's a great tool to quickly find answers within your Confluence space for questions you need answers to. All right, so next slide. And finally, a very useful feature that I've used as well. AI can also help you generate knowledge-based articles. While you should still review and edit anything that's AI generated, we've all learned that from ChatGPT as well. It still gives you a great starting point, which saves you time and allows you to create more articles faster. So this is just one example of me creating a run book for a LaserJet printer installation. So this is a run book that the AI helped me generate. However, think of other places where AI can help you generate content like release notes, product release notes, code documentation, and also product marketing content. So these are other examples where AI can come in and try to help you write content and document it within Confluence space itself. So those are just a few examples of how AI is actually integrated into a lot of the Atlassian tool suites, and more to come as well. So Atlassian does have plans to help out in other areas of the product. So stay tuned to see what else Atlassian comes up with regards to AI. All right. So now I'll touch a little bit about us and what we do. So if we move on to the next slide, so I'd like to just highlight again, we at Service Rocket. If you're a company that needs to recognize revenue faster, accelerate your product value, or outsource services to focus on your business, we've got your back and are here to help. We provide, as shown in this slide, all these services for you. So we can do training, we can customize training for your employees, we can handle your licensing workload. We can also do managed services for your administration of your Jira and Confluence instances that removes the load of your IT team, and your IT team can then focus on more value-add work. So these are some of the examples these are some of the offerings that we provide in Service Rocket. Okay, and actually we do have a question. So maybe let's just quickly jump into the question. Actually, no, let's just wrap up because the next slide and then it's Q&As, then I'll answer the question. So in the next slide, just very quickly, this is our motto within our organization. We've got your back. We say this to fellow employees and to our customers, and we mean it when we say it. So just wanted to share with you the motto of the company that I personally am quite proud of. All right, so let's jump into the Q&A section, and we've already got a question in the Q&A
Yeah.
thing. So let me have a look. Are the Atlassian Intelligence features available in data center deployments of Atlassian products, or is it only available in Atlassian cloud deployments? Andrew, do you know the answer to that?
Yeah, I believe the answer is yes. It's only available for the Atlassian cloud deployments.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay, any more questions? So I guess a question for you, Andrew. Do I need to know any scripting languages to write up all these intents?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not absolutely. I just realized I said that. So the answer is no. So as you can see, the intent that the screenshot that we showed, it was really a very simple workflow. And a lot of the capabilities that you have demonstrated in the past couple of slides are really a lot of natural language processing as well. So that's literally the definition of AI itself. So the answer to that the question is no then. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's give everyone else maybe a few more minutes if they've got any more questions. Okay, then I guess there are no more questions. So we can give back everybody their time. And yeah, anything else, Andrew, that you want to wrap up?
No, I think that's all. Yeah, appreciate to take your afternoon lunch break to join us, and I hope this session was helpful for you guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Appreciate your time as well. And it was a great session.
All right, see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.